So 2 weeks into the new year, and I will just say Happy New Year, blah, 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 blah. So what does blah, blah, blah really mean? Well, it means basically same shit, different toilet for most people. So you can imagine 2016 at the end, comes Christmas, everyone's taking their foot off the gas, a little bit tired, they just want to relax, they have time to think, and then starts the stupidity on social media. And what is the stupidity? You know the stupidity, the comments that come out. Oh, I'm so glad to see that 2016's coming to the end. I'm not going to miss 2016 for so many reasons. I am going to look forward to the new year because 2017 is going to be my year. Are you kidding me? What do you mean it's going to be your year? See, a lot of people bitch about 2016. Oh yes, well, it was really shit for all these reasons. Do you honestly think that when the clock strikes 12, we have a new year, a new day, 1st of January, that your shit has magically disappeared? No, it hasn't. Do you know what? It's still coming behind you. And the reality is, unless you change who you are, unless the way you change the way you think, in fact, unless you change what you do, how can 2017 be any different? It just isn't. So if we take the businesses out there, we take the people out in 2016 that had a really great year, and we sort of compare them to those that didn't have quite the year that they wanted, what's the main difference between the two? Well, we're going to say actually what's the main difference between the two species? Well, really the main difference between the two is the fact that those people that are truly focused, know what they want to achieve, know where they are going, they have a plan. They have a really clear, concise plan of action of what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. Now, yes, plans do change because circumstances do change. A great example of that was Brexit, and I'll come on to Brexit in a little while. But irrespective of Brexit, people have a plan and they execute that plan. My question to you is, how many of you have come into 2017 without a plan, without even thinking about a plan? See, if you've got none of this stuff in place, nothing can truly change for you. So let's look at 2016 and let's look at the debacle in the UK, which was called Brexit. Now, those of you around the world that didn't follow it, it was probably the biggest circus in town, apart from the US presidential election, which I'm sure we'll cover as well. But you take something like Brexit, you had two sides of the campaign. You had the Remain campaign. In all fairness, they were totally ill-prepared because they thought they were going to win. And then you got the Leave campaign that just promised the earth, full of bullshit, rhetoric, blah, 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 and all these wonderful things that will happen, and off they went. And on the day of the actual referendum, it was interesting to see that it was a great shock to most people that actually the Leave campaign won. Now, Leave in itself isn't the challenge. The people have voted, and yes, Britain is going to leave the EU. That can't be changed. What was absolutely diabolical is that these fucking idiots didn't have a plan. No one had any contingency. They didn't know what to do next. Everyone was shell-shocked. The markets reacted really well. The currency market dipped. And all of a sudden, since Brexit, the UK has lived in total uncertainty. Can you imagine that, all the people? I mean, you can relate to that because you're part of that uncertainty. When's Brexit going to happen? What's going to be the implications? What are we going to be doing? All this promise about this money going into the NHS, yet people are saying that we're on an NHS humanitarian crisis. Well, how can that be? I mean, prior to Brexit, everyone was saying, yeah, no problem, we're going to bump 150 million or whatever it was into the NHS. Well, that doesn't seem to be happening. The reality is, there was no plan, and the plan is now being formed as we continue along. I mean, we're starting at the start of 2017, there's still no plan. None that's properly published, nothing that the country can actually follow. Well, how is that any different in your business? Let's face it, if you don't have a plan in your business, you are doing to your employees, you are doing to yourself what the government's done to us. And that's put us in total darkness. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you go another year with nobody knowing what's going on? Are we going to have a good year? Are we going to have a bad year? Do we have targets? Do we not have targets? What does a good game look like? What do we need to do in order to sort of hit where we want to be? Most employees then don't have a clue. Do you know what they do? They turn up to work and then they go home. And then we bitch and moan because we don't think, do you know what? They don't really care about the business. Well, most people would care about the business if they knew what they needed to care about. And this is my challenge to you in 2017. What needs to happen for you to have a plan in place? How does your 2017 need to look? Where do you want to be at the end of 2017? If you were to look at me now and say, okay, do you know what, Peter? At the end of 2017, I would have had a good year because it would be marked by these things. This is what a good year really looks like. And then you said to your team, do you know what? If we hit all these targets, this is what we want to achieve. We would have had a great year. We're going to have some good success. How many people don't want to celebrate success? The challenge is, most of you are not thinking this way. And if you don't think this way, you're not going to be in control of your business. You're going to allow markets to control you. Your business will ebb and flow depending on how the economy does. Now, for a lot of people in business, you don't know how to plan because no one's ever taught you. My advice to you is this: go and learn how to plan. Go and find someone to learn from. And there's so much resource out there. You've got Google, you've got professionals in the industry, i.e. you've got coaches, etc., that know how to take you through a planning process. The worst thing is doing nothing. And a lot of people think, well, I'm going to have to invest some money. Absolutely, of course you do. But then you invest money in other parts of your life. You invest money in your entertainment, you invest money in your children, you invest money in your family, you invest money in yourself, i.e. you go out on the weekends, you have a good time, you buy yourself meals, you eat out, you go to cinema, whatever. That's investment in yourself. It surprises me how little people invest in themselves when it comes to their business, i.e. invest in your education. Yeah, we are now in what we call the knowledge worker age, where knowledge is power. Unless you've got the knowledge of knowing how to plan, you're never going to take your business to where you need it to be. So start learning how to plan. And really, when you learn how to plan, it's actually saying, okay, let's put together the yearly plan, and then let's divide that into 4. And we have 4 13-week sprints. So that's 4, on average, 90-day plans. And imagine what would happen if you had a 90-day plan where you were really clear and crystal as to what you wanted to achieve in that period, and then you gave your team a plan each. So I've come across businesses already 2 weeks in where the owners of a business do not have a clear, concise plan. But what's more ironic is if they've got a marketing team, the marketing team do not have a plan. Can you imagine going into 2017 without a marketing plan and expect sales to happen? Because the whole purpose of marketing is actually, do you know what? We do the marketing, that generates the leads, and then the sales team convert the leads. But if you've got no leads coming in because your marketing team haven't done a plan for the year and are not executing that plan, your sales aren't going to be there necessarily, are they? And then you've got the sales team. Do they have a plan? Does your production team, if you've got one, have a plan? Does your HR and administration team have a plan? No. So what you're doing is you're just turning up each day, paying your people to turn up each day and just work, but work without purpose. So failing to plan is planning to fail. Please make 2017 your year. Be different, think different, act different. Go out there and learn, change, and be successful. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Now, if you're a business in transition, you can relate to a lot of the stuff that we discussed today. And you're thinking, okay, I need to take some action. What do I need to do next? Please head over to Boolkah.com and get in contact, and I'll speak to you soon.